The Alternative Blend is made possible through the generous underwriting support of the Green Solution.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to The Alternative Blend. I'm Shelley Maxwell, your host. My first guests are two entrepreneurial brothers who started in the cannabis business more than a decade ago with two other brothers. And this small family business has blossomed into a very big business that's positioned to go global. I'd like to welcome them to the show. Eric and Kyle, welcome.
Thanks for having us.
It's so good that you've come today. We're going to talk a little bit about 420, but before we get there, I'd love it if you'd share a little bit of your story because I love it. It just started when you guys were very young.
Yeah.
21, I think.
Yeah, 21.
Tell me,
21 when we started as real estate entrepreneurs.
Okay.
We kind of used that same discipline of zoning regulations, raising capital, et cetera, and applied that to the cannabis industry. We were fortunate to kind of have an early start in real estate and then transition that into cannabis. But we ended up kind of hitting that 2008 bubble.
Yeah.
Found it less risky to move into cannabis.
Sure,
and so, we ended up opening our first store in our hometown, Northglenn, Colorado.
What a great place to start, your own hometown, right in your own backyard.
Exactly.
You got a little support, I suppose, that way?
Absolutely. Yeah, a little bit. I think it helped. And so we had the opportunity to open our first store, and then we moved that into a vertical integrated operation, which means we actually grow the product, manufacture the product, and sell the product. And I think what really catapulted our business was we were one of the first stores that went recreational in 2014. So that really helped supercharge our company and has helped it grow to 18 stores today, over 300,000 square feet of cultivation.
It's amazing.
And we manufacture most of the products that we actually sell.
Well, what I've learned in this industry, that's called seed to sale, right?
Exactly,
You do it all,
yes.
right? And I had an opportunity to walk through, I think you call it a MIP, it's your manufacturing plant.
Yes.
Guys, that thing is amazing. And the technology that's happening and the research that's happening and the products that are being made there, I was so incredibly impressed. And unfortunately, I don't think I have any shots of that, but I do have, I think, some shots of one of your grow houses, which is amazing. You have how many in town?
We have 3 in town and then a 4th one down in Trinidad, Colorado, right along the New Mexico border.
That's absolutely incredible. You know, one of the things I want to share with everyone is that, full disclosure, that your company and your family support this program.
Absolutely.
And I'm really curious. I know you started off and you really got a big push, as you mentioned. You really got a big push from recreational, but medical is really where you started, and health and well-being is really a critical component of the cannabis industry. So can you tell me why you felt it important to maybe start a public service program like this?
Yeah. Through the process of and the evolution of cannabis, you yourself don't understand it to begin with. Once we started 10 years ago, it was really understanding or trying to understand what the plant did, and with no research living in the world and just behind and everything. It was up to us to really focus on that process and really get to know the plant. And so as we did that, as we understood what consumers were buying and why they were buying it, as we were manufacturing products like we had discussed, and really evolved the plant into new forms of cannabis. That evolution happens daily, and it's very sophisticated. And the education behind it is absolutely necessary at this point for people just to, one, understand what the first step is, but understanding the trends for connoisseurs, but then education for the people who've never tried.
People like me.
At this point, everybody's been is becoming exposed, right? And, it was, you were at family outings and, nobody talked about having cannabis. And then all of a sudden there used to be people leaving the room and they would be outside and you'd be like, what are you doing out there? And now they just walk in and say, hey, look at my new stuff, right?
That's true.
And I've been a part of so many different family functions, not in my media, but my wife's, and it just becomes more and more natural. And then all of a sudden you realize it's kind of the normal thing that everybody's talking about or doing. And not having that education is kind of debilitating to people because they feel ostracized or not able to participate. But most importantly, it's such a benefit for everybody. Medically, that we started into recreational and that ability to expand into more of a free market. And so with that change and evolution, it was really important that we got the word out there, and that every time that we have that chance, we can educate people on the products themselves, on the uses of the products.
And the industry as a whole.
The industry as a whole.
I mean, it's incredibly regulated. It's very professional.
Absolutely.
And people don't really know that. I mean, people in my age group and beyond, we're a little reticent, right? We don't know we don't know much about it. I've never tried it. That's days coming, I'm sure, but I haven't, and it's because we all grew up with this sort of Nancy Reagan just say no thing, and that's become part of just sort of our psyche. And the more I understand it, based on what you're just saying, the education piece, the more I understand it, the more comfortable I'm becoming with understanding how it could really benefit me.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, we're running out of time, but I want to get to a couple of things. One, 420. We're here to talk about that. Next segment, we're going to cook some food and we'll celebrate it a little bit. But tell me, can you guys tell me, first of all, where did it start and what is it?
Sure. Best way to put it is it's a celebration, right? So the history of it, we believe, came from California in 1971. The Waldos which is a group of high schoolers that met every day at a statue called the Louis statue and smoked at 420 every day.
How random. Is that the true story?
It's debatable.
It's a fun one.
Yeah, it is.
They say that it really picked up once High Times really took on the story, and then it was like in early 1990s.
In the 90s.
And High Times was that catalyst, right?
Yeah.
I remember going to Barnes and Noble, and you know how they had High Times in the back left section.
Oh yeah.
And then you'd have to sit. You don't dare buy it. You just sit there and read it, right? This was like 10, 15,
It's like a
20
men's
years
magazine.
ago.
You kind of don't want anybody to know, and you're not going to go up to the counter and pay for it, right?
So they started it, and I don't know.
There's other urban myths that say that it was used as the police code for smoking in progress. But I think the one thing that most people don't debate is it started in California.
Yeah.
So we do know it started there. Mm-hmm. But really what we use it as is just a excuse to really embrace the culture, an excuse to really come out in a more family environment of consumers that want to come out and show that they support this plant for what it's worth.
So just very quickly, what happens around town? And at your dispensaries,
Everything.
everybody's
it's
dispensaries?
Spectacular.
Yeah.
So, 420 is really the celebration of the culture. It's a celebration of legalization. And so every store in the city is having specials, is doing great things. For example, TGS, we're doing tacos and we're putting essentially food trucks at every dispensary so that we can kind of give back to the community and just show thanks and
it's a
make
party.
it easy. It's a
party.
party.
Speaking of which, we're running out of time and I want to sneak in. You have an ambassador. He's a cannabis ambassador by the name of, we call him Yagi because he looks a little bit,
yes.
right? And he is so well known here in the Denver market. He's like a local celebrity.
He's a genuine, just great individual that has been a great ambassador for our
He's
stores.
just been the biggest advocate of not only the education and the opportunities that cannabis has, but he's just been the friend and absolute best person to all of our consumer base. So
they stand in line to see him, and he was not only fun and upbeat, and he knows so much, and he's so just a gracious man. He's also such a gentleman. He was so nice to me. It's such a pleasure. So guys, I'm sorry I'm out of time. I wish I could talk more, but you guys, you own the place. We can come back anytime. So I hope you will. Will you do that?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming on today.
The Alternative Blend is made possible through the generous underwriting support of the Green Solution.